Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Um, my name is Selina Nkoile, and welcome to today's presentation. Uh, I will take you through the Maasai community. I will tell you about my story and what inspires me to fight for the rights of girls and women of my community, and how schools are the perfect seed for community growth, and how we do our community outreach programs. And I will take you through our partnership with Population Connection and how it is making a difference in my community. Welcome to today's presentation. I'm very happy that I'm finally able to connect with you by a recording, because I remember the last time I was to do this presentation live online, I couldn't be able to deliver it due to internet problems from the rural nature of the place that I live. I'll start with the Maasai culture. The Maasai culture is a really, really beautiful culture, very vibrant. And the Maasai people come from East Africa, Tanzania, and Kenya. We are around Serengeti National Park and Masai Mara National Park. And what you will notice about the Maasai is all these amazing places that have different beautiful animals. It's the Maasais who live across it, around it. And I think the Maasais have really done a great job in conservation, because I have gone to some countries and you can barely really find, like, crossing a national park, you can barely find like a big animal. But I appreciate the efforts of my community preserving the animals, the wildlife. And I remember even growing up, they had a few like rules in the community, and you are not supposed to cut down a live tree for firewood, and they would also prohibit people to go and kill animals in the wild while they have their own animals at home. I also remember, because traditional medicine and herbs are very big in my culture, and when you went to the forest to look for herbs, you are not supposed to, in case you needed a root herb, you are not supposed to take it out from the root that's closer to the main tree. So you are supposed to take the most extended and far out or even exposed root. And then you couldn't also take from one tree several times. You would have to change trees. So I feel like the way we grew up, the morals they instill in us, they all really protect our earth. What I love about my Maasai culture and community, I really enjoyed growing up a purely nomadic pastoralist girl. I would go take care of our animals. I would even be able to name some of the cows. I would be there to help out with the household chores, milking cows, all the stories, the bonfire stories we would have with our the kids our age. I really enjoyed that, and the special bond that we have with our cows, our animals. I enjoy our communal way of life. People come together in my community to support each other. For example, if you, because it's women who build houses, if if you're a woman, you're married young, because again, child married is common in my culture, and you happen you're married, and then of course you're married without a house, so it's the work of a woman to build a house. What happens is, sometimes many women will come together, and then they would go to the forest and help this lady get all the materials she need for the job. And then the lady wouldn't have any problems. Now she will just be focusing on building the house, because she will be having all the materials that she needs at home. So all she would need to do is just cook lunch for them, and that's it. And also, even if a woman has a function or there is a ceremony they are doing, everyone brings them firewood, water, they come and cook food communally. So I feel like it's really great. And even small children, they say it takes a village to raise a child. Yeah, it took a Maasai village to raise me. I was always like at a relative's place, or like going to help out my auntie. So and also, like, we have the communal way of even raising kids. When everyone has somewhere to go, one person can be left in charge of the kids for sometimes, or the older women. So that the communal way of living is really interesting for us, and it helps us a lot. We are also known for beautiful beadwork. As you can see, this is beadwork that has been made by really, really creative art of the Maasai. They know all this. There's all these different color combinations, depending on the sub-tribe you came from, and our dress code, our dancing, how the men jump, and the Maasai warriors. They're really like a very interesting aspect about our culture, and also the fact that we are connected to the nature, we love nature, we are preserving nature. It's also very important. And even the trees, the herbs, they have a very special place in our culture. Of course, I know there are some things in my culture that have happened before, or are continuing to happen, that needs to change. And right now, especially the way we address livelihood securities, because traditionally we are nomadic pastoralists and we depend on our animals for everything. So now, because we're having more prolonged droughts due to climate change, we also can no longer predict the rain patterns, so we cannot really plan our lives in advance. So now when the drought comes, all our animals have to move away from home to go and look for grass and water. So this really leaves behind women and children hungry with no other source of food. So now I think my community really needs to embrace food crop farming, to start taking care of control of their food, and also that way they will be able to address household poverty and also household hunger. Patriarchy is another aspect of the culture which makes girls not be given a priority, for example, in education. If a family has a boy and a girl and they want to send one of them to school, most likely they will choose the boy. So my community has put a certain value on girls, especially when they are married off, because they will be able to get some cows. But also there is a lot of pressure that families are getting, and sometimes they have to prioritize between educating children or maybe selling some off so that others can survive, because it's big families, and without a source of livelihood, it's even hard to prioritize even education. So I think poverty, the way girls are viewed, also the practices, the retrogressive practices of FGM, or female genital mutilation or cutting, and also child marriage. This continue to be one of the biggest enemies of girls' education in my community. So when a girl goes through FGM, the next thing is marriage, and most of the time, the girls who are not in school, they will barely be in their parents' home until their 18th birthday. So they're all just being married off as children, and that's why for us, we are using schools as the seed for the whole community, but also we are using school as a way to let children enjoy their childhood and also to get some knowledge and empowerment, and they can contribute to the improvement of our society. I will take you through my story. And my name is Selina Nkoile. I am a young woman from the Maasai community. I was born and raised up in a Maasai village called Mosiro in Kajiado West sub-county. And growing up, like, life was just perfect in my eyes. I would go graze our animals. We will be out in the forest the whole day grazing our cows, and we will be enjoying wild fruits until in the evening we come back home. And sometimes the elephants would come around while we are grazing, and we will be taught tactics to escape them, and we will just go home, and the elders would come and bring cows back home, until an age when the first school was set up in our village. So before then, there was no school in my village. And in 2000, an organization funded a school in my village through external financing, and that's how I was able to enroll in school. It took quite some tactics for this organization to get our dads to accept to take their girls to school. But since I was the first girl that my dad had at that time, he was very happy to come and grab me and take me to school, because the school, they offered that it would be fully sponsored, so no parent would pay school fees, and then they would give us all the basic needs, the school uniforms, books, and then we were so many kids. It was so sweet to see. Like, my first day in school, I was like, wow, so I get to spend all this time with my playmates and my age mates. We will be telling stories and we will be just playing together. And then it was boarding, so we slept there. And whenever an older girl was brought, they actually would not start from the lower level of schooling. They would jump, they would skip classes and take them to the higher classes, so that it reduces their chances of being married off, and they can transition to high school faster. So it was not about it was about safeguarding them, putting them in a safe space, and then trying to hurry the process, because they're already late to enroll school. So for me, I can say that school really saved my childhood. It allowed me to play, explore everything, learn new languages, new skills, new knowledge, until I was in the first class to transition from primary to secondary school in this school called Naningoi. And my mom, I think before I went to school, I was already reserved for marriage. So I can't remember my age, but I remember, like, this day, a lady came, an old woman, and started doing something and pronouncing some words. So it turns out that she was booking me for the son. But school changed that for me, and I was safely hidden there. I had the best studying and living environment. And sometimes, if it was a very short break between the school break and when the schools reopen, sometimes they will just have us stay in school, because some of us, really, it will take a whole day of walking to get home, and then it was only a few weeks, and school was still new to our parents. So the institution was not really sure if we would all go back, and they preferred just having us in school. So education really, it widened my perspectives. Now I know what other things mean in the culture, but also what others mean. And that's when I think my activism started in school, when I was now part of the creative arts and a drama club. Every time we were commemorating a special day, for example, a day to create awareness on preventable diseases, for example, tuberculosis, or when we were talking about malaria or HIV and AIDS, we will do really educative pieces or poems to educate the community about these issues, and we will also do it in our local language so the parents can understand. So I think that's when my activism started, until my school, which saved my childhood, Naningoi Girls, was on the brink of closure. So when in 2017 I was already done with my high school, I was out there hustling and trying to join college, and I heard that the school was going to close down, mainly because there was no more funding for it, and it turns out the locals were still not able to contribute for school fees for their daughters. So the school started going down in enrollment and performance, and it was in the brink of closure. So I really that was the worst news I received in 2017, because I knew that school closing down, I knew what it would mean for thousands of girls like me in the situation I was in 15 years ago, and what it would mean for my community also. And I knew that it would take action for that school to remain open. So that's actually when now I started Nashipai Nashipai Maasai Community Projects, which is a community-based grassroots organization that means happiness. Nashipai means happiness in Maasai. And that's when our first goal when we started was to rehabilitate and restore Naningoi and renovate Naningoi so that it can continue to give a chance our girls from our village to go to school, because it was still the only girls boarding school available. It was the only safe place for the girls in the community. It's still the safe place for girls who are escaping gender-based violence. So that's why we started Nashipai. We just started so that we can use all the grassroots interventions available to address the problems we are going through as a community. So the vision is there, a happy society where every child has an opportunity to thrive. And our big mission when we started was to remove barriers that stand in the way for Maasai girls to access an education. The first one being female genital mutilation, child marriage, lack of access to important and basic needs, for example, sanitary towels, also lack of education materials, education infrastructure, education, quality education, because sometimes the school doesn't even have enough staff. So we focused on our school outreach program. We have focused with 3 primary educational centers where over 1,200 students are going. So this is why we started Nashipai, to empower our community in culture, education, and in also nutrition and health. So yeah, those are our 3 programmatic pillars. Education, where we support children to learn and be in school in order to prevent early marriage or FGM, and also there is where the girls will get empowered and they will also start breaking the poverty cycle. We have health and nutrition program whereby we deal with physical, mental, sexual and reproductive health and rights. We have also culture as our other pillar, whereby we promote our beautiful indigenous cultures, the good aspect of our culture. We want to just restore it and regenerate it. And while the harmful ones, we look for ways that we can abandon them and let everyone just live a happy life, that you don't have to be put through pain, either physical, mental, or whatever type of pain. On education, the main activities we do on education, we have scholarship programs. The students that are vulnerable in the community, we pay for their school fees or clear their fees arrears for those who are not able to do exams because of outstanding fee balances. We also have career talks, exposure trips, and mentorship programs, which are meant to empower and encourage girls while in school. We also supply them with personal and boarding materials, and then educational dialogues and awareness campaigns on various issues. Especially sometimes we go to schools, but on another time we just go to the local radios and talk about various issues, welcome people to call in to give us their perspectives. And also we have been doing infrastructure projects to support the schools. For example, we build classrooms. Also we set up school water harvesting systems, and that also helps to improve the space where the learners are doing, and it creates a better learning and studying environment. On health and nutrition, we do classes and awareness campaigns on sexual reproductive health and rights, children rights, menstrual hygiene and management. We also support victims for sexual and gender-based violence, for example, to reach to the nearest well-equipped hospital, because the villages are so rural, and sometimes it's hard for victims of SGBV to access even the basic health they need. And in health and nutrition, we also do school gardens and community demonstration gardens so that the community can start learning and embracing food crop farming as a way to sustainably address nutrition and food security. We also do community classes on family planning, HIV and AIDS, and other diseases, for example, the preventable diseases, and just show them how we can create more resilient and better and healthier communities. On the culture, we do cultural and intergenerational dialogues on culture shifts. We talk about the cultures that should be outdated by now, and could help us to move forward as a community. We're also trying to promote our dress code, beadwork, and see how this art of these wonderful women, because it's women mostly who do beadwork, how this art could be translated into income generating activities so that women can also have something that they can support their families with, and we can break the extreme poverty. We also creating safe spaces for the indigenous knowledge sharing, including traditional medicines and sustainable systems which the younger generation can learn. And we are creating community model centers where the community can come and learn about anything. At the moment, we are creating Bomanoma Ecology in Narok, and also we have a Nashipai Community Center in Kajiado South, where we are trying to create some model farming methods. We are doing a model like women enterprise setup. We want to empower women in economic activities. We want to look what is available locally and how can we monetize it so that we can break down the household poverty and women can be able to earn something too. Next, our partnership with Population Connection. Late last year, we approached Population Connection for support. We were at a very vulnerable place as a community because we had gone through over 2-year drought without rain. Families were struggling, children were dropping out of school, and families were losing all of their livelihood security because hundreds of thousands of animals died from starvation, from lack of water, and it was actually affecting people. Not only children going school were dropping out of school, but also the fact that we are so close to our animals, especially the men. Their mental health was actually getting really messed, and some of them, we have a few of them who wanted to even commit suicide because they were like, the cows are gone, what am I staying here to do? So we approached through our friend Heaven, we approached Population Connection and told them about the situation, and they awarded us a bursary. They awarded us a grant of $20,000, which part of it we used in our scholarship program. So what happened, we let the teachers and community leaders and members suggest for us the needy children and children who have been mostly affected by the drought. And then the second part was to have a commitment from the children to work hard, and also from the parents to commit to positive cultural shifts. We want them to become the role models or good examples in the village. We want them to not keep quiet when they see something that's not going right, and they should talk it out and solve it. And then the disbursement happened thanks to this grant from Population Connection. Through that scholarship program, we were able to award 77 students with scholarships to either enroll high school or pay their outstanding fees balances. Some of them were in universities and they were stuck, and we assisted them in school fees payment. And that was a success for us because it meant fewer girls were at risk of early child marriage or FGM when they are sent home to go and look for school fees. Some of them are actually have been able to escape that. So usually in Kenyan schools, they will send children home to bring back school fees. But for those children that come from vulnerable backgrounds, they will be at home for months as the parents try to raise that amount. So having them at home while everyone else is at school makes them miss out on extracurricular activity, miss out on classes. It makes them also, it puts them at really a risk of even getting pregnant, because that time they are at their lowest. They have nothing, so it's easy for them to take an advantage of. So these 77 students, they were able to stay in school the whole term, the whole year, some of them, because some of them we paid for their whole year schooling depending on the level of vulnerability. And even their results, because we are still on the monitoring and evaluation part of the project, the results for most of these kids was better when they closed school than the previous term. So the scholarship program, I can say, was really a success. Some parents, I'm telling you, some parents, we will be giving them the cash receipt and they will just break down and cry because they had lost hope of their children going back to school. They were like stuck, and this really, really gave them new hope, and the children were able to continue with their studies. The second program we had with the partnership with Population Connection is the nutrition program, and this is where we have taken advantage of the existing school gardens and also community gardens, and we will do a meeting with community members in these gardens, and then we will have we will invite community members and give them, we have given them over 1,000 pounds of fortified porridge flour, and 107 families have been able to benefit from that. So this is where now we are encouraging the community to embrace nutrition. We have started having talks on nutrition and the importance of a balanced diet in food, and also giving them options. So most of them, they use porridge using only maize flour, corn flour. But now we have shown them that there is an option which is more fortified, it has more nutrients, and it's actually better for the children because it will help them get the needed nutrients that are in that flour. And so with these gardens, over 750 students and community members have supported the creation of 4 school gardens, and also we have established 1 acre garden, which a real it's a model garden for the community, especially the Mosiro community, who have no idea about farming. Sometimes they even think that food doesn't grow there because it's hot and dry. But we really showed them that it's something that's possible, and we were able to hire a gardener who can teach the students for the next 1 year. And this setting up this garden, we invited community members to come and learn, and they were really happy. They saw, like, from setting up until now, it's been 2 months. The garden is looking so fresh, so healthy, and so beautiful. And on our last meeting, the women couldn't believe, and even some young men, they were already like, we want to do this in our homes. And in Bomanoma area, we even have a few women who have started their own small kitchen gardens behind their houses and it's so encouraging to see. And that way the knowledge can spread, because then the community gardens and the school gardens act as places where they can get practical experience. They can get seeds and seedlings, tree seeds. Like in Bomanoma, 1 month ago, we, in partnership with another local organization, we gave women 1,000 tree seedlings. So everyone was going home with like 40 tree seedlings. And the good thing that happened is, after we gave out the trees and they planted, we've been having rains non-stop, which means all the trees have rooted, they have grown. It was the perfect time to put these trees on the ground. and now they will be able to become big trees. Some of them will give out shade, others will clean our air, other trees will give them fruits, and this in the long term will improve the nutrition of our people, because we really grew up only having cow and the cow products. We didn't even eat meat that much, so all we had from the cow was milk. And if there is no longer rains, we can no longer have the cows provide enough milk for us. It means that there is a lot of poverty, household hunger, and people will be going to bed like on empty stomachs, and even children going to school on empty stomachs will mean that they will not learn anything from school. So these projects have helped to break the poverty cycle. It helps to now start help. It has helped our community set up on a journey to address their nutrition and food security, and also to promote self-reliance, and they can also take advantage of feeding themselves, because they always say instead of giving someone a fish and you have to give them a fish every day, maybe it's better to show them how to fish, give them a fishing rod, and that way whenever they're hungry they can go and catch fish, and they can even sell that fish and get some money to buy their children a book, or buy a solar lantern, which will help their children do homework later at night. So I think our partnership has been a big success. It has been really impactful. I think it's one of the partnerships, because we are really big on partnership for the goals, the SDG that talks about everyone coming together. And we really appreciate this partnership with Population Connection. It has really made a huge difference in our community. It's a seed that we have planted, and we know that it will continue to produce and produce and produce more fruits. The knowledge of food crop farming will continue spreading. We will continue setting up school gardens and community demo farms, because we have the knowledge. I was able to learn about permaculture later in my life in 2016. So this is knowledge that I have and a passion that I have, and I can say that in my work of activism, meaningful community involvement is great, because then people will take charge and they will continue with the work. And so the partnership has been an amazing success. The community members will not stop saying thank you. And a few of them who I told that I was going to do this presentation, they all were like sending me their warm greetings, the warm appreciation. And so to everyone that has been part of our journey, that has been part of this impact, we say thank you. And in Maasai, we say Ashe Oleng. We could not have done this without you. And as Nelson Mandela said, by educating communities, Nelson Mandela said, like, education is the most powerful tool that we can use to change the world. We couldn't agree that more as a community, because when people are empowered, when they have information about different cultural aspects, and also they are able to know the importance of education in poverty eradication and in transforming lives of girls, women, boys, then everyone really, every girl and woman will be having the freedom to decide what they want to do with their lives, what they want to do with their bodies, their future, when they want to get married, who to marry them, how many children to have, the spacing of the children. With education, with empowerment, everybody will literally like be living a happy life. So thank you again for being part of the transformation in our community. And thank you for watching, and thank you for being part of the change. And in Maasai we say Ashe Oleng, and we will talk again. Have a wonderful day, everyone, and much appreciation. Peace.